into that over the winter. That's like the only game I played too, just because it took up so much of my time.
Yeah.
But the other versions of the game are not as playable. The SNES version, the PSX port, not nearly as good as the PSP. So you chose a winner.
Yeah.
Saga Frontier.
What happened to that?
Oh,
we didn't talk about any of the Saga games because they're stupid.
Okay.
Yeah. I know people are just like fuming, like driving off the road. It's like, I gotta pull over. They talk shit about Saga Frontier.
Yeah.
No.
I didn't play Saga Frontier. I played Romancing Saga.
They're all...
because I had to review that one, and I was just like, oh, this is... And the character models were ugly. Like
they were hideous.
The character artwork was very
Thing
good.
is,
well, I read an interview with one of the designers, and they had to compromise. They had something in mind, but they overshot, and so they had to like compress these characters into something weird looking.
They looked weird, like weird little figurines that would be at your grandma's house or something on the
it
shelf.
was really creepy. It was really creepy. I liked the opening song though; it was very pretty.
That's
that was
true.
the only thing that I can think of that I liked about that game.
Those Saga games are blessed with really good music.
The guy who does God, I'm blanking on his name. He's done so much. He did the thing for Final Fantasy and Saga Frontier and Saga, just like all these games, and I'm totally blanking on his name. But he does all these really pretty soundtracks, and I'm totally blanking on his name. He did the... No.
I know you're talking about. I don't know his name.
Yeah,
but...
he did World Ends With You, or I think he did that as well. He did the soundtrack for Final Fantasy 13. The only thing I like about that game is the soundtrack.
Has a really good soundtrack.
It's a great soundtrack, and it's by the same guy.
I don't like that Chocobo song with lyrics. I got to skip that one.
No, that one's not so good, but... Yeah, he did, and he did part of the collaboration on Final Fantasy X, and I'm just completely blanking on his name. It's driving me crazy.
It'll come back to you.
It will.
Let's take our last call for tonight, or this afternoon, wherever you are. Hey, you're on Retronauts. Who are you? Where are you calling from?
How's it going? I'm John from Cleveland.
Hey, John. I'm from Youngstown. You might know where that is.
I do know where that is.
Don't ever go there.
Oh, don't worry.
Okay.
Youngstown's the left armpit of hell.
It's a what? It's a what?
It's the left armpit of hell.
It's the west armpit of hell? The west?
The left, maybe.
Oh, okay.
Left
I
arm.
agree that it's an armpit of hell.
Left, right, left.
Yeah. But let's move on. I agree with you, though.
Sorry. All right. Have you guys already talked about the Shadow Hearts games?
No, but hey, like, I've been dying to talk about Shadow Hearts.
Do it.
So come on, John. School us with your Shadow Hearts knowledge.
What? Do you want me to describe it? I mean, what do you want?
Yeah,
from
sure.
Me now?
Like, I could go on about Shadow Hearts, but everyone's sick of hearing my voice, so let's hear from you.
Okay. Well, it's spun out of a PS1 game called Kodoka that was made by
That's
Xtreme
right.
employees.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, and Kodoka was not a very good game.
No, it was not.
It was okay. I mean, its heart was in the right place, but the first Shadow Hearts game was published by Midway for the PS2, and really great kind of uncommon combat system because it was timing based, like
it was on
thing.
that roulette wheel.
Yeah, it was like the Ring of
Right.
Fate. Oh, there was so much cool stuff you could do with that. Go on.
Yeah, and the twist with the ring, and you didn't have to just kind of like hit one target on it and then you would attack. You hit multiple targets on it, so your timing had to be fairly sound, and you could turn it off, but it would make the game really, really lame without it. It would actually just kind of make it very average.
Yeah,
but,
and I remember like if you set up your ring to make it extremely difficult to actually hit the right spots, you would actually get better attacks and stuff like that, and use it to help you set up combos.
Right.
It was really, really complicated, but not in a way that was hard to grasp. It just gave you a lot of freedom in how you wanted to play.
It's very risk reward.
Oh yeah, definitely.
It had a really cool setting. It was kind of in this like alternate World War I era Europe, and it was a really, really interesting game. It took some weird liberties with actual historical figures, and
it did take quite a few liberties with historical figures in a really funny way that it's like no one actually did research. They just like flipped through like Time Life's guide to the 1910s or whatever, and it's like I like that guy.
Encyclopedia Britannica. Yeah, it was pretty interesting game. And then there was a sequel that was called Shadow Hearts Covenant, which came out I think like 2 years later, which was what totally refined the game. I mean, it was the graphics were much better. I mean, it wasn't a beautiful game to begin with, but the combat was really streamlined. I mean, they really cut out the weird oddities with the Judgment Ring, but they added more interesting things that you could variate it. And
Yeah, I think 2 is my favorite. I've played all of them. I've only finished 2 and 3, but 2 is excellent, and I totally recommend it.
Yeah, I think 2 is the best game. I think the first one is the most interesting, maybe because I played the first one first, so I wasn't really didn't know what to expect kind of thing, but the third game totally spun out of control.
It did, but in a way that I love, because it just so balls out and just wacky as all get out, because...
Oh, yeah, that game is batshit nuts.
I wrote down a few of the things I remembered. That's a great way to describe it, because our next segment's going to be like, hey, let's recommend RPGs and people might not know. Mine are the Shadow Hearts games, and we can take care of this now. Like you said, what's it, batshit nuts, insane? What was your description? I forget.
Yeah.
Okay. I know at one point, like, you're helping Al Capone because his sister has turned into a horrible demon. And then at another point, at another point you have to help H.P. Lovecraft because he's making like a monster manual, like to keep track of all the monsters in the world. So you have to go to him. Oh wait, no, he challenges you. You have to you have to beat these 3 monsters in this time limit with these constraints. He's like sort of like the arena. You have to go to H.P. Lovecraft.
Yeah, he's the arena fight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's more wacky stuff like that. And of course, there are some kind of insulting things like there is a Native American woman party member who is always half naked, and it's not a very sensitive portrayal of a Native American person, so hey. But I mean, they had good hearts. They met well.
The title.
Oh yeah,
There it is.
Wait, no, they had Shadow Hearts. That's
Yeah,
not
Shadow
good.
Hearts, it actually sounds bad.
For some reason, in the first one, I only played the first one, though I own all 3 and I haven't gone.
Oh man, Janine.
I know, I've got this huge backlog.
Now that you have time,
I know, but anyway.
make your
for
vision
some
quest.
reason, I remember in the first one, wasn't there a quest where you had to find pornography?
That's in the second
Yes.
one.
Oh, it's in the
Yes.
That's
second
in
one.
the second one.
Is that why I
Yeah,
picked it
and with
up?
their very impolite portrayal of homosexual men in the
That's
second
true.
one, too.
Don't
so.
remember me, I haven't experienced
That is
it.
also true.
Yeah.
Like normally, I would blow the whistle on that stuff, but it's just like they didn't. It's kind of insulting to say they didn't know any better, but I think it's kind of true. It's just like the 2 gay guys in Shadow Hearts 2 to help upgrade. Okay, this sounds ridiculous. To upgrade. Okay, one of the playable characters in Shadow Hearts 2 is Geppetto from Pinocchio.
Okay.
And he fights with a puppet, a little girl puppet.
Yep.
And in order to upgrade her weapons and stuff, you have to find basically beefcake dude porn. It's completely softcore. It's just guys flexing, because that's a stereotype in Japan. If you're like a bodybuilder type, you're probably gay. That's like the stereotype
That's
over
a whole
there.
Cho Aniki thing.
Yeah, that's right. So like you have to find these cards to bring to the 2 gay tailors so they'll make you puppet costumes. There. All right, someone just locked me up now.
Sounds great.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
It's
Yeah.
way more fun than it sounds. It's like I said, this game is ridiculous, and it's always like, what will
Aren't
they?
you kind of glad that they didn't censor that?
No, I'm very glad. Like I love just all the craziness, and I think a large part of why I play through those games is because what crazy historical figure are they going to show me next that is going to be completely inaccurate and just like completely insane and like nutty?
Yeah.
Yeah, insane is right.
Yes.
And I mean, there's really a continuum to it too, because the first game was just a little quirky. The second game, like, it really does go off the deep end a little bit with some of its characters, like the pro wrestling vampire bat that.
That's right. Oh my god, I wish I would have written down all the characters
like
in
a
3.
mailbox or something.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, and
yeah.
then Shadow Hearts 3 is just it's off the wall kooky.
Do you remember any of the characters in 3? I know there was like a little kid that was the main character. There was the Native American woman. There was
a Native American guy with guns.
Was there a pirate?
Probably.
Like a
Oh,
little
man,
girl
I don't-
pirate or something?
I
Okay.
don't remember now. Jeez. I seriously tried to block that game out of my memory pretty badly.
Oh, you shouldn't. And also, I remember there is a cat. There's a cat, right?
There's a cat.
Yeah, there's a giant cat, yeah.
Who drinks from like a gourd, and it's obviously the cat is always nearly drunk. It's sort of like Japanese Garfield.
Japanese Garfield.
He likes his sake. But, so is there anything else you want to add, John? We're about to wrap up here.
No, man, do your thing. Thanks for taking the call.
Yeah, thanks a lot for calling. Awesome.
All right, take it easy.
Yep, you too. Well, that was John. He likes Shadow Hearts.
Thanks,
Wait, I couldn't tell
John.
if he liked Shadow Hearts or not, did he?
He knew a lot
He's like-
about it.
He liked it, but he didn't want to think about it anymore.
Yeah.
Man,
But it sounds like you had great memories from it.
yeah, I do too. I want to play those games
Isn't
again.
that all you can ask from your games? To have
Yeah,
to
like,
laugh about.
man, that was a
Maybe.
trip down memory lane. The weird thing is that developer, I think their name is Sacknoth, they went on to help make Lost Odyssey. I have no idea where they are now.
Oh.
Yeah, I
that
feel bad
game.
for them. Like, why can't I have Shadow Hearts 4? You guys,
No,
you
they gave
guys,
you Lost Odyssey instead.
yeah. And I feel like Shadow Hearts was like, the real carrying forth of the JRPG tradition into the new generation, where a lot of games are trying to reinvent themselves or try to figure out a way to make the game cheaper. You know, like let's have random dungeons or let's have a card game system.
Yeah.
This game was just like traditional and just like stacking mechanics on top of each other and like I don't know. I miss Shadow Hearts.
Aww.
So I
Was
guess
that another one that got thrown into Pony Canyon?
no, we kept it out of Pony Canyon.
There's
we
this
throw
desperate- No.
we throw the bad games down Pony Canyon and we throw sick ponies down Pony Canyon. Hey, listen,
Not lame ponies, just sick ponies.
just sick
Exactly.
ponies. They can fend for themselves amongst the wolves. I've already mentioned we're going to do a segment about let's recommend some JRPGs that we might want to recommend to people. Thankfully, John called and saved me some time talking about Shadow Hearts. I really don't need to go on anymore. I don't know if I can recommend the first game. I think that game is kind of dated to the fact that I really couldn't play through it when it came out, and I had pretty high tolerance for bad RPGs when it came out. But 2 and 3 are just like nutty, crazy fun. And if you can find them, I say go for it because they're a lot of fun.
But where would you suggest you start? 2?
I would start with 2. 3 is nuttier. It's not as good of a game. But they're both just a lot of fun. And they don't take themselves seriously at all because it seems like JRPGs are just full of brooding teenagers.
Not always.
Oh.
Watch-
It's become that, yeah.
Like even
no,
Kingdom.
in Square Enix games.
Oh yeah, but they sort of set the standard. Like here's what's popular in our
Yeah.
culture, so we're gonna reflect
And-
that.
But Tidus wasn't, he was sunshine and happy.
Kind of, but he had his own.